Hi there. I just wanted to take a couple minutes to talk about the piece of outerwear that you're looking at in our store. Everything that we list, all of the outerwear, is very carefully examined. It's carefully measured. I pick every piece that we're going to sell, and there's always a reason why. We also describe the condition of every item. We take a lot of pictures, and I want you to have a little insight into what I'm examining and what we do, so you have a better idea of what you're buying and who you're buying from. Here's a nice puffer vest. To me, it looks like it's in brand new condition. I mean, it's pre-owned. I don't think it's ever been used, but it is a pre-owned item. We're going to make sure that there's no stains on it. We're going to make sure that the zipper works properly. We're going to make sure that there's nothing funky in the pockets. We're going to make sure the pocket linings are intact as they should be. We want to check the collar to see if there's any funkiness or dirt or damage to the collar. We're going to look behind the collar. Sometimes an item originally came with a hood and we may not have the hood, so we'll make a note of that in the listing. We're going to let you know if it's down-filled, which I believe this is. A lot of our puffer items are. And we're going to take measurements. And different types of outerwear are going to fit different ways. What you want to do is check an item that you have that's similar to the item that we have and compare our measurements to your measurements. The way that we measure is we hold the fabric straight against the tape measure. Some people lay their stuff flat and just throw a tape measure on top of it. When you lay it flat, you generally get a slightly smaller measurement. By holding the fabric straight against the tape measure, I believe we get a more accurate read. We're not stretching the fabric, we're just holding it straight. We list all different types of things, and it's just the stuff that we get always amazes me. And when sometimes I have stuff that has a problem, and just because a great piece of outerwear has a problem doesn't mean I don't want to sell it, but I'm going to make every effort possible to make sure you know about the problem. Most of the stuff we have doesn't have a problem, but when we do, this is a beautiful Burberry coat, very useful item. Someone's going to want it. All the buttons are here, the zipper works great, the fabric is clean. It's got a nice button out lining, but it had some problems down here on the lining. I don't know what it was, but what we did was we put these little arrows in there and we photographed it with the arrows to show you where the problem was. So of course we're going to price the item accordingly. If it was in mint condition, you know, it would be considerably more expensive. But a nice Burberry coat like this is certainly something that someone is still going to want with that problem. But we want you to know that there's a problem, so we're showing you. We look at the front, we look at the back, and anything we see that's out of whack, we let you know. Every item gets, there's a condition statement in every listing that gives you an idea. Sometimes it says this item appears to have been worn once or twice. Sometimes it says it was gently used and it's still in excellent condition. Read those statements, look at the pictures, and know that we are very, very thorough with our examinations, and we don't want to have disappointed customers, and we very seldom do. We get leather pieces. Here's a nice, this is like a shirt jacket. Now leather, you're going to get minor surface scratches on leather. The edges of the sleeves will sometimes show a little bit of stress, especially when something's black. This one doesn't really have that much of a problem, but we try to let the pictures describe the item best. We can't, write out a paragraph or a report about every square inch of every item, but we do our best to photograph every part of the item so you can see it clearly. And if you ever have a question about a picture of the piece of outerwear that you're looking at now or another piece of outerwear, please send us an email and we will address your question. We're also listing some quilted items. This is from Bed & Sherman. You've got stitching all over the place on quilted items, so I'm going to make sure that the stitches are everywhere that they should be. You don't want to get a quilted item that has a whole bunch of missing stitches because it's just not going to look right. I'm going to check the snaps. I'm going to check the zippers. I'm going to look for anything that a discriminating buyer might be bothered by, and I'm going to make sure that I describe it in detail, either in pictures or in words. And top coats, we get a lot of great top coats. One of my favorite things to sell are vintage hand-tailored top coats, especially from the 60s. There was a time where we were making these amazing, super high-quality coats. We were making them by hand. The buttonholes were sewn by hand, and I'm always looking for those. they're really the best value you can ever get from us, because a lot of times they're cashmere, and to have something like that made today could sometimes cost, $1,500 and up. This is a coat from J. Crew. Certainly not a vintage item, but a very high quality item. Beautiful fabric. It's in beautiful condition. We make sure all the original buttons are here. We make sure they're securely attached. We're looking at the edges of the sleeves. We're checking the lining for any problems. We're looking at the underarms. We're checking the interior pockets. We're examining it and describing it the best that we can so that we can deliver you what we are promising to deliver you. If you have any question about the item that you're looking at or any of the other items in our store, please send us an email and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thanks for looking.